from writing the ongoing wasi following a presidential directive. That and more here in tonight's edition of Newsnight. You want to join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp on 0244340437. But before that, Evans,
Christmas has come early for all Vodafone Cash subscribers. Your secured and convenient Vodafone Cash is the only network offering you a chance to send money to all networks via Vodafone Cash free of charge. Yes, you heard me right, free. No other network can give you such an amazing offer except Vodafone Cash. Just send any amount to loved ones as many times as you want on any network without paying any charge, zero. So what are you waiting for? Make payments, show your love, make contributions, send money all you want via Vodafone Cash to all networks free. Dial *110# to send money for free. Ready. Details after this.
55, 58, 58, 70. Hey, Charlie. My network is really killing me. I have to pay my uncle's workers mobile money, but the charges alone, it's about 380 cedis. Charges alone just to send money? That's $10 of cement already, my guy. Listen, bro, you can save money on charges if you move to Vodafone Cash now. Vodafone Cash? But my network is sending money on that your network, you pay. Sending money on your network to other networks, you pay. But guess what? Sending money on Vodafone Cash is free. Sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is also absolutely free. No charges at all on Vodafone Cash. So tell me, what are you still doing on that your network? Masa, look sharp, then move to Vodafone Cash. Hey, make a change the SIM right now. Yes, sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is now absolutely free. Send unlimited amounts of money as many times as you like for free. Just dial *110# now to send money.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Hey, I say, mix the cement in correct proportional.
Hey, contractor.
Hey, Buccaneer, what's your soul?
Yeah, Malande. Sorry, I say. When you attend the year of return, Ankasa. Hey, contractor. A danya wishing ye. Hey, what was wrong with me feeling too much?
Who project here? My friend gas them from top to down. If you are a gas them.
Hey, yes, solid pa.
Hey, you see gas them, man. If I suppose no one do on your quality no question. So gas them cement biara. I will cook a crab be over 5,000 plus communities. And a gas them. I donations. SEC schools, I built a clinic. Now, what a packaging now. What's the and environmentally friendly?
Never compromise on quality. Choose the value Gassam offers you always. Gassam, the nation builder.
welcome back and thanks for staying with us here on Newsnight.
Well, 4 children are recovering in Lahore in Accra following a bomb explosion there. The children aged 5 to 12 chanced upon a pile of live grenades last week, Tuesday, as they went about playing. An explosion afterwards got them admitted to the hospital where, although wounded, all 4 survived. PC Nanaya Osafo has more from his rounds in the community.
I'm here with Uko Adams. He is the parent of the 4 children who are victims of that bomb explosion last week. He'll be telling us more of how it all went down and, in fact, how he has survived from last week, Tuesday, when it first happened, till now. Also with him are some of the victims, the children themselves.
It was last week, Tuesday, when we were bibi bomb here. Hey, ada cool background na ntinsani me ma do here. You be na if the general concert hey they say let's see. Nti me wa be 50 minutes me say the be able to come dia ba tabika me dem ko Kofiana ba we dey we so go we o ti ye shi oh we dey emoji tu ni ni kan na dani ni tafe na dani brad ko emoji an ko nti ataga yi tu ndi adenu ko Kofiana Tabika fire no omo e ko Kofiana de ko na mututu woni wo nefi mi tua bia mi ya Tete Adams ele we fe latele
on epeni
e fe latele Adams nti fe ko bia enye wo epuna enye epuna no side go na also church ni wo nechi say omuni probably dia go nto mu yo sare mu ni pa say bibi da ho say ade ni say koko toy ero ko fire di ba ko fire no to wo na eni yo ba ko fire bium o say ade dia say fe nto clock ya na eja study.
So Oko Adam says he He says he is a labourer here, and he was working on Tuesday when he heard a loud boom sound, and even before he could wonder what exactly was happening, he saw a private vehicle come around with his 4 children bloodied and in fact wounded severely in the vehicle. He says it took the Good Samaritan's help to get the wards to Kolebu, where even there they realized that the situation was very severe, especially when they noticed that the pellets of the bomb had gone into the flesh of these children, especially the first one, Tete Adams. They then referred them to the police hospital. He's thanking the doctor for helping them out on that one. He says from that time till now, he spent almost all his money trying to take care of their hospital bills and others.
And that is PC Nanayel Safo's report.
Here on Newsnight. Tonight, the main opposition NDC is serving notice it will target NPP government officials found culpable in the PDS scandal as part of its Operation Sting agenda. So the PDS is a private firm engaged by government in a concession arrangement to manage the electricity company of Ghana. So government terminated the contract after it emerged the firm had allegedly fraudulently breached the contract terms. At a news conference today, the NDC says the termination cost Ghana $1.8 billion. Here's the party's National Communications Officer, Sami Jenfi.
The cancellation of the PDS concession agreement by the Akufo-Addo government in the manner it happened occasioned the abrupt termination of the whole MCC Ghana power contract by the U.S. government. Consequently, the U.S. government withdrew the second tranche amount of $190 million, equivalent to 10 billion Ghana cedis. They had allotted to Ghana for the improvement of the power sector of the country under the power contract. Overall, Ghana lost about $1.8 billion as a result of the greed and avarice of President Akufo-Addo and his corrupt family and friends cabal, who sought to appropriate the over 20 billion Ghana cedis worth of assets of ECG for themselves. And when I talk about a total financial loss of $1.8 billion, I'm talking about, first of all, the $190 million the U.S. government withdrew. That is the second tranche of $190 million they withdrew because of how poorly we manage the power compact. 2, I'm referring to the $500 million budgetary support the U.S. government had committed to advance to the government of Ghana, which was also withdrawn as a result of this scandal. I'm also referring to the $400 million Ghana lost under the regional compact, because subsequent to the power compact, we were to benefit from the regional compact under which the U.S. government was prepared to give us $400 million for other developmental projects. We lost all these huge sums of money and many more as a result of the greed of President Akufo-Addo and his family and friends cabal, who were determined to appropriate the assets of ECG.
Now, Sami Jenfi alleges that PDS collected 1.5 billion cedis in electricity bills during its 7 months of operation.
The total amount of money PDS collected from electricity consumers in the form of electricity bills from the 1st of March 2019 to the 18th of October 2019, when the concession agreement was still in force. Per our estimation and from our checks, over 1.5 billion Ghana cedis was collected by PDS. But we have not heard any official communication from the Akufo-Addo government or from President Akufo-Addo himself, who touts himself as a paragon of transparency and accountability on this matter. Ghanaians and electricity consumers in general deserve to know the amount of money we paid to that fraudulent entity called PDS.
Now, there was an announcement on what the next NDC government would do. So, Sami Jainfi says they will ensure that all these monies are retrieved under an anti-corruption agenda called Operation Sting. Listen.
He shall wage a ruthless war against corruption in all sectors of our nation through an anti-corruption crusade dubbed Operation Sting. Ghanaians can be rest assured that under the Operation Sting crusade, the next NDC Mahama government shall ensure that all monies, here I'm referring to the over 1.5 billion Ghana cedis revenue PDS collected from the people of this country, President Mahama will ensure that all these monies collected by PDS from electricity consumers are properly accounted for and ensure the retrieval of any amounts misappropriated by the company, their promoters and accomplices for the state. Also, the next NDC Mahama administration shall ensure the arrest and criminal prosecution of all persons who directly or indirectly played roles in this stinging PDS scam and the other several corruption scandals we have witnessed under the watch of President Akufo-Addo in the last 3.5 years. As President Mahama has demonstrated, between 2012 and 2016, when he ensured the prosecution of his own appointees and party members in the Youth Employment Authority scandal involving our own Abuga Pele and Mr. Asibit, as well as the National Service Secretariat payroll fraud scandal, among others. President Mahama will not be a clearing agent of corruption in the next NDC government.
Now, that's the National Communications Officer of the NDC. Advance, we've been trying to get some response from the Energy Ministry.
Yes, we have reached out to the Communications Director of the Ministry. He tells us that the Ministry is planning to issue a detailed statement to react to the claims made by the NDC, and that when that happens, then of course we get to hear their side to the allegations made today by the NDC. This is still your election headquarters. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's go to Parliament now, because Majority Leader in Parliament, Oseche Mensah, says promises by President John Mahama that Assembly members will be paid salaries if he wins the December elections are unconstitutional. Now, the former president said this when he met the Association of Assemblymen at his office here in Accra.
The responsibility on assembly members is enormous, and the least that government can do is to help them to be able to do their jobs properly, and that is the commitment we have. And that's why I've talked about plenty issues that I'm happy that we could discuss. Of course, we've announced a few things, but I'm sure there are many more things that we can discuss. For instance, like he talked about transport for assembly members. We were the first to give motorcycles to assembly members, and I come from a rural constituency, and I know how useful, that means of transport was for the assembly members we gave the motorbikes to. We created a situation where they could improve themselves, for future career options. And so we'll make a clear path so that that training can take place and improve the capacity of assembly members to do their work. But I think one of the most pleasant news to your ears was my proposal to pay allowances to assembly members. And as I said last Monday, we will drastically reduce the size of government at the center. That includes all these, 125 ministers. We'll drastically reduce it. And
so that is the former president there. But today we are getting reactions from Parliament. The Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Oseche Mensah, says the former president has no power to pay assembly members. Listen.
Article 250 sub 2 provides the emolument of a presiding member of a district assembly and other members of the assembly shall be determined by the district assembly and paid out of the assembly's own resources. Just because this is a constitutional provision. Of late, we are hearing of presidential aspirants saying that most of us will come and make provision for you and pay you. Where are you going to get the money from? The speaker, it cannot. It cannot be done by any president. That promise cannot be done by any president. To the extent that we have Article 252, that has not been amended. So to the extent that it is not been amended, no presidential candidate can go about making promises. Amend it first. If you want to amend it first. You cannot jump the car and say that vote for me when I come, I'm going to pay you. Where are you going to get the money from? We should be serious with ourselves as a nation. The president cannot change the constitution.
Well, as you can imagine, this contribution generated a fair bit of controversy. We're also hearing from the minority side reacting to this, but my colleague Joseph Opoku-Gapo is on the line with me. Joseph, thank you for joining us. What must have necessitated this issue on the floor today? Hello, Joseph, can you hear me?
Yes.
What necessitated this issue on the floor today?
And so the House was dealing with the approval of a report from the Parliamentary Select Committee on Local Government and Rural Development on what is described as the African Charter on the values and principles of decentralization, local governance, and local development. So this is a charter that, from the level of the African Union, government has signed on to promote issues having to do with decentralization. And Kennedy Ohinyejapong, who is the MP for Asin Central, actually moved the motion for the House to adopt the committee's report and allow for Ghana to be part of this particular charter, which the House was debating. And in the concluding conversation on that, the majority leader, Chairman Sabonsu, then went on to throw in the bit having to do with a presidential candidate promising to pay assembly members, and him insisting this was not feasible. It was actually a very much unrelated conversation, except that as he concluded the debate on this issue before the eventual approval, he threw that particular point in.
And the minority had a reaction to that on the floor. Tell us about it.
The chief whip on the minority side, Mensah Mubarak, led that, and he cited examples to make the point that John Mahama actually probably has intentions of doing the necessary constitutional amendments if he would want to get that through, and that it happens virtually on a daily basis when the finance minister and other government officials make policy statements before they go ahead to initiate the processes with the amendment of the constitution. So it's nothing strange as far as he's concerned.
The majority leader is misleading this house. The speaker is misleading this house because a number of times we've seen the minister of finance come to this floor and during budget presentation make announcements about taxes, and after he has done that, then he later comes to amend the law to accommodate what he says. So to claim that you have to change the law before you can make a pronouncement is not right. He knows that. Many times, even through the State of the Nation, the president comes to make pronouncement, and the budget and sometimes laws are amended to accommodate what he says. If he doesn't believe in what somebody is promising, that one is entitled to himself. But to say that it cannot be done. Remember, Article 250 is not an entrenched clause. And even entrenched clauses are changed sometimes through referendum. So don't create an impression that those things cannot be changed. You don't believe in it, stay with that. But don't say it cannot be done. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the extent that many parts of the Constitution could be amended, then everybody should go about making promises. Yes. Mr. Speaker, the first port of call is amending the Constitution. And it's not the President who amends the Constitution. So you can't go, the Constitution is not a mere statute. You can't go about making promises when you have not amended, when the Constitution has not been amended. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, you'll be going against the Constitution that you have sworn to uphold. If you say that when I come, I may cause an amendment to the Constitution to effect this, that's different. But when the Constitution has not been amended and you go about making promises outside the Constitution, with respect, that is unconstitutional. That is unconstitutional. And it will tell about who you want to entrust the operation of the Constitution to.
Let's stay in Parliament because there's been an update on the roads, on the year of roads declaration by government. Now, government today says that this 2020 declaration that this year, of course, is going to be a year of roads is on course after Parliament approved the 65 million euros loan for the construction and rehabilitation of 3 bridges. They include the Ankoba Bridge over the Ankoba River. Now, the HR Bridge, which connects Cape Coast and Elmina, and the Dikpe Bridge in the Black Volta between Laura and Dikpe. Now, the Deputy Roads Minister, Anthony Cabo, says the roads and bridges will bring relief to residents in the enclave. He says government is committed to ensuring residents in the area have good roads.
From imminent danger. In the case of Dikpe, there is currently no bridge across the Black Volta, and Dikpe is a community within the Laura municipality, and it is divided by the Black Volta, which divides Ghana and Burkina Faso. And there's been a lot of canoe trade, movement of people through the water, unapproved routes, and it's actually hindered a lot of economic activity. But for many years, I think over 40 years now, the people have been yearning for this bridge to be constructed so that it could improve economic activity between Ghana and Burkina Faso, because indeed it's the shortest route to Burkina Faso, not through Hamele, but now through Bobo Dioulasso. Of course, you will have to detour off the Laura through Dikpe and to Bobo Dioulasso. And so it's a major game changer. And for me, this is one of the things the president had talked about in 2016. And it was very clear that he was going to deal with that particular bridge so that we could open up trade between the two countries. And there's been discussion between the Ministry of Roads and Highways and the Ministry of Infrastructure and Burkina Faso. And the letters of no objections have been given for this project to start. And so today is a big day for the people of Laura, Apawu in particular, for the fact that the President and the NPP government has answered our long cry for this bridge to bridge the gap between the Burkina Faso and Ghana.
Well, on recent complaints by Domi Kwabenya residents in Joy News report recently about the poor nature of the roads there, the Deputy Minister urged the residents to be patient. He says the contractor has started working on the road from other parts of the stretch and will get to their neighborhood soon.
Don't forget that the Domi road is also connected to the Domi Ketasi road, which is an exit route for us. And that road is currently under studies. We have gone through the loan agreement in this house, the Saudi fund, which is going to be dedicated to constructing that road. And so, as we speak, currently there's some works going on within the Domi community. I'm sure you would admit that some major road works have gone on in the area. And I think that the people of Domi must be patient. This is the one government that is paying attention to addressing the road conditions in Ashama, the road conditions in Domi, in Pilatu, and in all those sprawling. I can tell because, I know the work is ongoing and I know that the contractor is doing his possible best, but all these roads cannot be constructed at the same time. We need to prioritize. And in prioritizing it, others will come first, others will come second. And so when I listened to your report, I actually made a follow-up. I checked and I was told that this particular road is part of the general road works within the Domi Kwabenya, but the contractor is currently starting from somewhere and eventually will get there.
Were you giving any timelines on when, for example,
Well, it's difficult. We're in the rainy season at the moment, and once it begins to rain like this, most construction sites, most workers on the construction, the contractors will not want to go in and do some works, and later on they get destroyed by rains and all of that. So I think that people and the commuters and communities where they have deplorable roads must continue to be patient. We will try as much as to come to bring those roads up so that it can be used in a short term. But in the long term, the plan is to ensure that we deal with all these roads.
Lockdown. And that is Anthony Cabo, the Deputy Roads Minister. So live on your election headquarters.
The general election, about you, the people, and the real issue. The Imani Center for Policy and Education and your election headquarters bring you the minor political parties and independent candidates election debate live on Joy News, Joy 99.7 FM, and across our digital platform. Send your questions ahead to info@ibanighana.org. Let your voices be heard. The minor political parties and independent candidate election debate is brought to you by the Imani Center for Policy and Education and your election headquarters.
And of course, we are counting down to that much anticipated minority political parties and independent candidate election debate this Thursday from 8 p.m. live from the University of Professional Studies campus. Tonight, I want to introduce you to investment and management consultant and independent presidential hopeful Carl Morgan, who of course is one of 6 independent candidates who will be on stage on Thursday in that rigorous debate that you cannot miss for anything. So why did he decide to go into politics and seek to be a president?
Very interesting, Daniel. All this while I studied political science, so that has been at the back of my mind everywhere I go. When I went to the U.S., I joined the former President Obama's primary campaign as a volunteer with the Democratic Party strategist, one Professor Weston, Dick Weston of Emory University. He's a psychiatrist and a political scientist at the same time. So he was working for Obama's team, and I volunteered with him. I learned a lot. And when I finished my first degree, I went into politics here in Ghana. I stood as independent parliamentary candidate in 2004 in my constituency, Apawu East constituency, yes, in the central region. And I didn't win, but I made a lot of impact. The campaign that I put up is still, my record has not been beaten. Nobody has ever done that. And I think I'm the reigning champion, and I'm proud of that.
I mean, very interesting background there. So he has some experience in this area. By the way, I'm just joined by my colleague Daniel Dadzi. He's been hosting these independent presidential hopefuls ahead of the debate on Thursday evening. This is the second candidate you've hosted on the Pulse.
Yes, Evans, this is the second, by far the most interesting, I must say.
What makes this interesting?
So he was talking about his record at Upper Dentra East. He actually won 10% of the votes there.
That's interesting.
Yes.
For an independent candidate.
For an independent candidate. The NDC candidates got 20% of the votes, which was about twice his votes. And then the MPP candidates, I think, won over 60%. But he definitely made a dent in the pile there. Reminds me of Abel Green Street at Ayawaso West Wogon.
Yeah.
Incidentally, in that same year, 2004, where he stood for the CPP, and he made quite the showing. So he made his point. You heard him there saying that Barack Obama, he worked on Barack Obama's team in the USA.
That's some good experience.
That's some interesting experience. But the most interesting thing he told me, because he kept on going through what he had done and how come he believed in himself. And I asked him, you're a married man, you're a family man. When you told your wife you wanted to run for president on an independent ticket, what did she say? And he admitted that she laughed at him.
That the wife laughed at him.
His wife and his 4 children.
They didn't believe that he could.
Up till now, they still find it a bit difficult to believe. But he believes that he can convince the nation that he can run and bring about a change in paradigm and a change in the system that we have. Late last week, I spoke to
Onipayede
Osomte.
Yeah.
Onipayede Osomte.
Yeah, that was very interesting one, because of his background for me.
Yeah, he's a welder.
Because he's a welder who he has some very interesting views on
language.
Yeah.
So when I met Onipayede and he entered the studio, he said that he wants to speak Twi. So initially I thought that, unfortunately, I thought that maybe it's because he can't speak English. But you heard from the interview that he spoke English. Yeah, he said no, he wants to be interviewed in Twi because he has realized that it is because of a disconnection from our culture that Africa has not developed. And so, as president, the first thing he wants to do is make sure that we abolish English language as a language. in Ghana as the official language.
As the official language. So we make one of the local languages the official language.
The question is which one? Which is really where we got into when we.
That is an interesting one that probably we'll have to interrogate on Thursday evening. But there are many professors and linguistic professors in Ghana who had made the same argument that we need to return to that because they say the point of which country has developed by using another country's language as they point to Germany. I mean, they speak the German, but they can speak English sometimes. The French do the same. So there's a strong argument there, I guess. But let me ask you, the two of them, which idea have you heard so far that really struck you and made an impression?
I will tell you this. So when I was speaking to Carl Morgan, and what really interests me is finding out how they can govern, how they can practically govern. So how you're going to get your ministers, how you're going to get your government machinery together. He believes that all the independent candidates, all people who believe in a third force will come together behind him.
In fact, there is a movement towards getting all of them.
So the coalition of independent presidential aspirants, SIPA, they're about 6 to 8%, and then there's a third force movement as well. So he is doing the work to rally all these people together, because he specifically said that if Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndum could not form another political party to rival the NDC and MPP, we can't believe in a political party. And we can't also follow the NDC or the NPP, so it has to be an independent person. And the passion with which he communicates his message, I must say, Evans, it really got me thinking. Very, very infectious. I'm thinking of,
I know. he almost got you to start thinking, maybe I can vote for him.
Maybe, I definitely am toying with the idea now.
No, but that is the whole idea behind this debate, that together with the money we put together, because if you haven't heard the other view, you won't know what tickles you.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're so used to NDC and NPP, you think that's all there is. Wait till you hear the 6 who will be on the stage on Thursday. Daniel, thank you very much, and possibly hosting more tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday before the main event in the evening. Myself and Emefa Apawu will be. Marik Gan. Marik Gan.
Well, I hosted Marik Gan last year.
Yeah.
I hosted
Marik Gan has actually launched his manifesto, of a copy of which I have. Very interesting.
Very detailed.
Very detailed. I mean, very detailed. And he's the first among all the political parties and everybody else to do that thorough work.
I must say that, Evans, there's a lot going on in this space. This morning on Prime Morning, for instance, I spoke to the PPP and the PNC ahead of the same debates, the minority political parties next week. And on the pulse, I've been talking to all of these presidential candidates, and the depth of thinking, the way the ideas are being crystallized, it looks like we may be overlooking some great
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And for me, that's my main argument. When Imani pitched this, I thought that is great. Let's do it, because it gives you a certain sense of what else is there. I mean, what else is there, and whether we can use that as part of the, solutions for our country. Emefa, are you looking forward to this on Friday?
I'm looking forward to it, hoping that they can make some impact in the December 2020 election.
Let's see. So
most people doubt.
You don't want to miss it. It's Thursday from 8 p.m. It's on the Joy News channel, live on Joy 99.7 FM, on Lab FM in Kumasi, our affiliates across the country, on our social media pages as well. And we're going to be connecting via Zoom to two very interesting other candidates in the U.S. You remember Kofi, the guy who, when they did the what you call it?
Kofi
Ghana. We did the diaspora summit, and he asked some very controversial questions that got the minister.
He wasn't asking a question; he just gave it to Carl.
He's also going to be part of the panel. So he himself is an independent presidential hopeful.
Interesting.
Yes. So so very interesting time we're expecting on Thursday. George, your affairs here. Are you contemplating running for president anytime soon as an independent candidate?
I've not even an assembly member.
What do you have in the headlines, George?
Olivers, in the headlines, we're getting you more from the minority leader who is actually accusing the Bank of Ghana of breaching the country's banks and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institutions Act. And Tourism Ministry considers a new initiative aimed at gradually driving events in the country post the easing of COVID-19 restrictions. Remember the business news on Newsnight. is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
So everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call. And so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and last week I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend. So hello, look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. Compare where, compare there. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
Nothing but the best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Puma Drinks, ready to add flavor to your life? Puma Drinks, bursting with so many flavors, you just can't have enough.
We know it's important to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in your employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is regulated and licensed by the National Health Insurance Authority to provide medical insurance services to institutional clients, families, and individuals. Apex Student Package and International Medical Solutions are all here to cushion you. Visit Apex Health Insurance Office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, or call
0501-683-914
or 0232-000-015. In Kumasi, we are located opposite Prempeh College, Sofo Line, and in Takrady, Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
Joy 99.7 FM.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu is accusing the Bank of Ghana of breaching the Specialized Deposit Taking Institutions Act by not publishing an inventory report on the collapsed banks and microfinance institutions. The law requires the receiver to submit a list of assets the bank liquidated within a month to the Bank of Ghana and, of course, subsequently published in the newspapers. Haruna Idrisu has been speaking at a press briefing in Parliament today.
Demanding this data, transparency and accountability from government, in particular from the president, and more specifically from the Bank of Ghana, the regulator. According to the Banks and Specialized Deposit Taking Institutions Act 2016, Act 930, Section 1301, and I quote, a receiver shall establish a new financial position for the bank or specialized deposit-taking institution based on a determination of liquidation values of the assets of the bank or specialized deposit-taking institution. Emphasis: values of the assets of the bank. Where is the inventory report on the collapsed bank and on the micro and savings institutions? Was it remitted to the Bank of Ghana? If yes, where is it? We demand respect to the letter and spirit of the specialized deposit taking institutions at 2016 at 930, and that this country is governed by law.
Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu. Now, mining firm Golden Star Resources says it still has great confidence in the economy and the business environment despite the sale of its 2 mines to another firm. Golden Star Resources earlier this month sold its Bogoso and Pristia mines to mining firm Future Global Resources for $95 million. This, however, raised concerns about whether mining firm has actually had some concerns with the investment climate and the business environment, which actually influenced this move. But speaking from his base in London, Group Chief Executive of Golden Star Resources, Andrew Ware, says there has nothing to do with the business environment. He maintains that their decision to actually still hold significant stake in Wassa Mines is a demonstration that they believe in the economy.
But we're very happy in Ghana. Actually, one of the things, there's many very terrible things from coronavirus, but actually for me, one of the positives is the way it's strengthened our relationship with the government and the communities. And, I think it's pulled us all together, because for the government, the gold mining industry is very important. At a time like this, to have an industry that's succeeding and doing well, paying incremental taxes and royalties, I think that's all critical. We, as a senior team, we've personally given money, I think it was $20,000, to the communities around our mine sites, because we appreciate the importance of sanitation and having access to that in the middle of, this horrendous virus, because it's important to us, personally as well as a company. So operating in Ghana is, I think, over the last few months has strengthened our belief that it's a good place to operate. Team at Wassa, essentially an all Ghanaian team.
And that is Andrew Worry, his Group Chief Executive of Golden Star Resources, speaking from his base in London with Joy Business. Now, Tourism and Creative Arts Minister has indicated that they are considering some new initiative that will help drive events post-easing of COVID-19 restrictions. The pandemic actually resulted in some outdoor events being affected to help control the spread. The Tourism and Creative Arts Minister, Barbara Otinjesi, has been giving us some details on these new measures.
So there hasn't been much for people to participate in. So now, as we are opening up, can we have events which are compliant with the protocols to allow people to also have some experiences? I have had people who have come proposing something like drive-in movie theater. So they set up the stage showing the movie, and people driving park their cars, sit in the cars or sit just on top of the bonnet or something and watch the movie. And if you place orders on your mobile phone, you'll be served with your order, and then you go away. You still have that experience of going out, instead of always sitting at home and maybe watching a movie on your laptop or your computer. You still have that experience. And I think that is also very important, because as human beings, we are social animals. Yes. So it's good for us to go out. So we are looking at all these ways that we can still promote some activities and have people going out to enjoy them.
And that is the Tourism and Creative Arts Minister, Barbara Otinjesi. And that's all for Business on News. Now, maybe you're talking about some lovely places in Accra that we should all try and explore, right?
It's been there than that, and as if he can't hear you. You know exactly what you're talking about.
The man was talking about a place at Labadi Beach.
Yeah.
This is the private
the drive-through thing, the drive-through thing is about how
because
to...
it was for off-air, not on air.
Oh, okay,
yes.
I see.
Thank you very much,
Donna Boy says when he comes to Ghana, he feels like what?
Like it's heaven.
Labadi Beach is like connecting the horizon.
He loves being there.
Benedict, who introduced you?
Yeah, he wants to join.
Who introduced you, Benedict?
Your joint.
Benedict, give us sports.
All right, so New Asante Kolokosi Nanayan Ponsan has been advised to be strong and push through his ideas since managing the club won't come easy. Now, Vice President of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana, that's Swag Morris Kwanzaa, says this is the only way he can succeed.
You need the strong backing of Mensah and the board, and he needs a certain peaceful environment. But you see, with Kotok, you need to be a strong man too. because there are too many power blocks, too many competing interests. And if you are not tough and you want to be Mr. Nice Man, you may not succeed.
There will be more on Nana Amponsa in our subsequent sports bulletins. Now, Jadon Sancho will remain at Borussia Dortmund as their player next season. That's according to their sporting director. Manchester United were hoping to sign the 20-year-old, but now it's been confirmed that he's not going anywhere. And talk of Manchester United, they are in action tonight against FC Copenhagen in the quarter-final UEFA Europa League game. The other game tonight is Inter Milan up against Leverkusen, and this should be cuckoo for Evans and Emefa, your team.
Thank you, Benedict.
Thank you for the latest from the world of sports. Now, have you been monitoring the missing kilos? You know, tonight at 8:30 p.m., part 2 will be showing on the Joy News channel. So ahead of that, farmer-based agency World Cocoa Farmers Association is calling for stiff sanctions against officials of licensed buying companies implicated in Joy News hotline documentary Missing Kilos. So the Ghana Standards Authority has revealed that almost 50% of over 4,000 weighing scales used by licensed cocoa buying companies during the 2016 to 2019 cocoa seasons had been tampered with. That's coming up in the second part of a 3-piece documentary put together by investigative journalist Kweke Nasi.
There is a sense of adjustment for maybe 2 reasons. We have the bottom-up view, which is the pieces feel that they compensate themselves for the remoteness of the activity.
We will be finding out what the disincentive is in this district that's discouraging even children of cocoa growers from becoming farmers like their parents. I will be using a 50-kilogram bag of cement to test the skills of the various private and public licensed buying companies. I'm driving to Crowfrom. It's a dusty patch with overgrown bushes on both sides of the road. I have come to a madhouse used as a shed. It belongs to a purchasing clerk with Yonkopa licensed buying company.
Our managers are not interested in how we transport cocoa to the depots or go for meetings. All they care about is the money they give you to purchase the cocoa.
No. The licensed company then. He is gripped with fear after we detect adjustment in his scale. The 50-kilogram bag of cement registers 45 kilos after the readings. This means he steals 5 kilos on every 50-kilo bag of cocoa.
It appears 2.5 kilos have been stolen.
50 kilos.
The weight of the cement bag is 50 kg. The readings show 45 kilos.
After busting him in the act, the clerk confesses that he adjusts the scale to make up for the cost of transportation to meetings and drying of the cocoa beans. He argues if they are provided allowances by the license buying company, he will stop the practice.
Like I indicated earlier, the cocoa is not well dried. When the farmers bring it to the shed, you realize that you lose as much as 8 kilos after drying it.
Transportation yes, transport. At the end of the year,
also, additional costs like transportation for meetings force us to adjust the scale so that we don't run at a loss. Why don't you take these costs from your managers? Our managers are not interested in how we transport cocoa to the depots or go for meetings. All they care about is the money they give you to purchase the cocoa.
oh, by now, the other. That be crazy.
Companies.
Okay, maybe I say one of them. So, one of them,
I work at Nyonkopa License Buying Company. What should government do to deter you from adjusting the scale?
Oh, I know
if government provides us monthly allowances, then would refrain from tampering with the scale. The adjustment of scales seems to be common in this community. I've been directed to another produce clerk who works with Ejimapa License Buying Company. He leads us to a traditional semi-detached house where he keeps his scale. After dropping the bag of cement on the scale, the 50-kilogram bag reads 45 kilos.
No, cement is 50 kilos. But this is not a matter of price. It's just 45 kilos.
He mounts a strong defense for his actions when we question him. He says it's a company policy to adjust the scale.
Okay.
Nah, if you say what the part?
Ejima pan nearing.
I like my father buy something.
Oh, okay.
Company no.
I work for Ejimapa Buying Company. What you deduct from the cocoa farmers is what they deduct to pay you.
Sometimes some of these things you just can't understand why people would do this to the poor cocoa farmers. Some of their children don't even benefit from scholarship.
Yeah, some of them.
Chocolate.
Yeah, haven't even tasted it before. Now, we're also hearing from the former operations director of Amajaro and founder of NKT Consult, Nelson Bodote. He's been explaining the rationale behind the adjustment of weighing scales by some produce clerks.
There is a sense of adjustment for maybe two reasons. We have the bottom-up view, which is the pieces feel that they compensate themselves for the remoteness of their activity, such that the more remote the scale, the higher the loading, the higher the cheating. So if the scale is on the roadside, you will have some 5 kilos, but go deep inside and you can have as much as 11 kilos. So I'm telling you that the pieces think that they live too remotely and bear certain costs that are not covered, and therefore they compensate themselves by trying to adjust the scale. It becomes a volumes game. The more cocoa you buy, the more you get. So the scale gets adjusted for reasons like the pieces feeling that they ought to do that cultural thing of welcoming people and seeing them off well with some cash or something. So they lay the scale for all of those reasons. But largely, they also act as financial intermediaries in the villages where they cater for the financial needs of the farmers or people who live in those remote areas, such as their funerals. They come and take loans on the pieces. The off-season shortages or off-season low cash season, the pieces take care of the farmers. Their health issues, they settle debts on behalf of farmers, and then again for loans to farmers again to maintain their cocoa farm. So the pieces play a lot of role in that area, and so they feel that adjusting scale compensates them sufficiently.
So the full documentary, part 2 of Missing Kilos, airs tonight at 8:30 p.m. on the Joy News channel.
Now, time for our Arrive Alive campaign, and it's brought to you by
Toyota Ghana and, of course, Bedrock Insurance.
Now, there's good news for residents of Apawu here in Accra who have, for the last few years, been protesting failure by the officials to fix their malfunctional traffic lights. It's a situation, they say, has resulted in the loss of lives there after several people were knocked and killed by speeding vehicles on that stretch. But after a massive demonstration last week, repair works have begun. PC Nana Yasafo was in the community.
Fast forward to Friday, the 7th of August, 3 days after the protest, work on the traffic lights are nearing completion. I counted 9 out of 11 faulty traffic lights being functional. It seems like a simple task crossing the roads, but 4 days ago, the people of Awushimangwase could not afford the simple luxury. Residents met me this time with a look of satisfaction.
They have come, they have listened to our petition, and they have done it.
We are all happy, especially with the traffic light. Everything is working, and we are happy, more than happy here.
All the So, for instance, if we haven't done the demonstration, will it be done? They will not do it.
He doesn't need us to do a process or do a demonstration before he actually works on something. They are MCs, they are assemblymen, they are heads in every district.
Okay, so good news there for those who live in that part of the country. That's it for News Night tonight.
I am Emefa Apawu, and coming up next is That's My Opinion.
Very interesting topic.
I want you to translate this into
Cramp, no born bed.
Say it
car for low floor. I just say it in never.
Okay, I'll tell you another time. So that's it. We'll leave you with khaki.
Try it. Car for low floor.
Car for low floor. Agala Megina. Okay.
I want to leave you with something to just, salivate on. Don't forget to buy Emefa struggles with the other language in translation. Just listen to khaki. Okay.